Power filter, take 4. Welcome back to the Boston Audiophile. My name's David, and today I want to talk about this. The W-3900 high-end audio grade noise filter. So I heard about this a couple years ago from a YouTube channel called Zero Fidelity, which I recommend. He liked it a lot. I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So it's $160, made in China, has a steel box with aluminum end caps. And at the time, my system had been unchanged for several weeks. So when I got this, I put it in, and right away, I heard a noticeable improvement that I liked, which is that everything sounded freer. So especially in the mid-range and the higher frequencies, there was more liveliness to the sound, just like it got to pump a little energy into the thing. So I thought, this is great. I'm keeping it. And then a couple of years ago, I thought, well, I'm going to had it a couple of years. So a couple of weeks ago, I thought, I'm going to do a review on this thing because I've been happy with it for this time. So I did another couple of A/B comparisons and put it in my system, and I noticed that freedom of the sound, but I also noticed the soundstage got noticeably bigger, more expansive in every way, and the bass got clearer too. Without the filter in, it sounded a little muddy. So it just sounded, I could hear the bass more clearly. So let me show you what's inside. I'm doing this review different. I'm just getting to the point, and then I'll ramble at the end for those who want to hear some other of my thoughts. So let's show you what's inside. So first I'll show you the outside. This is the front. There's the power switch. There's a little pilot light to show you the power's on. This LED says phase, and I believe that just tells you if the plug you have the unit plugged into is properly wired, or if the hot and neutral are reversed. On the back, there's a circuit breaker and the power inlet for your power cord to the unit. On top, you can see there are 10 plugs. These red ones, 6 red ones, are filtered, meaning the AC goes through the filter, and these are 4 unfiltered ones, the black ones, just for the convenience of having some extra plugs handy. So now I'm going to open this up. I've already taken out most of the screws, so save your valuable time. Underneath, the bottom drops off, and I'm going to flip this around. Okay, you can see here are the receptacles, and I flip it around. Here are the plugs. You can see that the filtered ones, the red ones, are this kind with the ears, and the unfiltered ones are just these snap-in ones. So, well, they all snap in, but they seem to be maybe higher quality. You can see overall the wiring is very tidy, but here's where I want to focus over here. Let me see if I can get this closer. There, that's pretty good. So this is a fairly standard circuit, I believe. If you look up AC line filters with common mode noise rejection or things like that, you'll find schematics that look to me very similar. And it's just a bunch of passive devices. So these yellow things are capacitors. Here's some resistors. There's a couple of diodes here. I think those are probably relate to the LEDs on the front panel. There's this blue thing, which I can't tell what it is, and I don't want to disassemble it, but I think this is the main key part, though. This is a inductor. with a special inductor with two windings on it that go in opposite directions. And there's exactly the same number of turns on each of these wires around the core. And these are specifically made to block what's called common mode noise, which is noise that's on the hot and neutral wires when there's the same noise on those two. And that's hard to filter if you don't use some device like that. Okay, so now I want to just tell you a little more about things. Okay, there we go. So as I said, I think it's good. You can try it. You can order it on Amazon and try it. If you don't like it, at least if you have Amazon Prime, you can return it for free. So if it works for you, it's well worth the effort. And if it doesn't work, you can return it and get your money back. So what I want to say, though, is now it works for me in my system with my hearing preferences. So I don't believe things are as subjective as some audiophiles believe. But certainly, if you don't have much noise on your power lines, maybe I have more noise than you have, and something like this has a bigger effect. The other thing is, my system was the Denafrips Aries 2 DAC, which is a very modest, low-power DAC with a 300B Elekit Class A tube power integrated amp that puts out about 8 watts a channel, so it doesn't draw that much current from the wall. And that's my whole system into the Klipsch Cornwall 4s, which I've modified a little. And those obviously are very efficient. So the whole system isn't using much power. So maybe if you have a system, for example, some large Class A amps that draw 1,000 watts continuously or something, maybe this would impact the sound negatively. I don't know. This is why everyone has to learn how to do their own, learn what to listen for, get confidence in your ability to do A/B comparisons, and keep nudging your system in the right direction. So, and there's a good guy that I respect very much named Steve Guttenberg. His YouTube channel is called the Audiophile Daily or something like that. And he doesn't like, I seem to remember he commented that he's not a fan of power filters in general. It's hard for me to believe if he heard what I heard that he wouldn't like it. But maybe in his system or the power conditioners he's tried did cause negative effects. So you got to listen for yourself. You got to learn how to listen. Which brings me, I just want to say one other thing, two other things. One, that there are similar units made by Emotiva. I have an old simple Emotiva power amp that's pretty good. And if you're a fan of Emotiva, you might be tempted to try their filters. And they may be better, they may be the same, they may not be as good. I can't comment because I haven't heard them with my own ears. And a lot of times in audio, people can make the mistake, I think, of assuming that because on paper something looks the same, or because on paper it looks like it should sound better or worse, they think they can guess how things are going to behave, or they think the speaker will sound better if they toe it in or toe it out, or all these things. The only way to know is to try, and you got to learn to trust your judgment, learn what to listen for. It just takes a long time, but over years you get experienced and you can make the right choices. And I've just finished reading this book called Atomic Habits, and one of the concepts of the book is if you just make a tiny improvement on average every day to something, that over the course of months and years, you can make a huge difference in your ability to do something or in your life in some way. And I think in some ways an audio system is analogous, where if you just haphazardly assemble an audio system, even if your buddy has the same system and his sounds great, well, with your power lines and your room and your positioning of the speakers and the way you routed the interconnect wires and all these things that may not seem like they're going to matter, it could literally be the difference between a bad sounding system and a great sounding system. So it's getting back to this thing. This, in my opinion, in my system, definitely nudged things in a good direction. And if I can come up with 5 or 10 other things that nudge it in a good direction, that will make a significant impact on the system. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your likes and your comments and subscriptions, and happy listening.